Evening, welcome to the Rams review from RamsTV, live from Pride Park Stadium. Owen Bradley with former Derby captain Sean Barker alongside, here to bring you some reaction to a defeat for Derby today. The Rams have lost at home to Sheffield United. Ben Broden Diaz's goal 3 minutes into the second half was the only difference between the sides as Derby battled but ultimately fell short as the Rams slipped to a 7th consecutive league defeat. Matt Clarke on his return had a good chance toward the end, but that was about it in terms of Derby chances this afternoon. And that, of course, a massive source of frustration. Derby stay in the Championship relegation zone. We'll show you how that looks a little later in the programme. We'll start with Barks before we get reaction from downstairs. It's another one-goal defeat, Sean, but a game today that actually Derby probably weren't in. Is that fair?
A tough one to assess, really, because we're talking about a Sheffield United side that have been as good as anyone else on the away form. Keep clean sheets, know a way to win games of football, and obviously sitting in the top two. So you're playing against a really good side. In reality, we made them look average. They had probably as few chances in this game as many teams have here at Pride Park this season. But in all honesty, we lacked that little bit as well. So the in-possession stuff, the chances created, we just probably didn't have it until the last maybe 5-10 minutes of the game. So you can feel the strain, you can feel the pressure. I've said it numerous times, I'm looking for those players, those characters that can drive this team to get performances and get the results, more importantly, at this point of the season.
More to come from Barks. Let's get to you some reaction from downstairs. Lots to talk about with the transfer window due to close in a couple of days, of course, from head coach Paul Warne.
Yeah, pretty raw, obviously. Disappointed to lose a game, and because the run we've got on, a point would have felt like a worthy point, obviously. But weirdly, I've just said it to the dressing room, I'm really proud of the efforts they put in, and they keep going to the end. And you know, we're asking a lot of people to play. We've been riddled with injury, obviously. We're asking a lot of people to play out of position, like we asked Ryan to play right centre half today, and unfortunately we had to take him off at half time. So then you have to take Ebro out of midfield, where I thought we were doing quite well in midfield. It's nice to have David back, but then David only plays an hour because it's his first game back. So you're then taking your two stronger players, the physicality out of the team. And I felt like second half, apart from the goal, I don't remember any goal threat. But unfortunately, I can't keep saying it, or I am keep saying it because I've said it a lot of times now. We're losing by 1 goal. We're not like losing by 4 or 5 goals, and we do create. You know, we had a really good chance to score, but we do create. But we're in that form at the moment, or role at the moment, where we don't take our chances, but we get punished. And apart from a couple of long-range shots first half, I didn't feel that threatened. But the best teams take the chances, and that's what's happened today.
The team looks like it's lacking confidence, understandably. Does the belief have to come from within to get out of this?
Yeah, good question. I think, like today, I didn't actually think there was a massive lack of belief. I didn't. I just think that we asked a lot of people to do different things, play a different way. It was a bit winter football for both teams. I didn't think anyone played like creative, unbelievable soccer. So look, no one's involved in sport at any level to, you know, continuously lose, which we are in this run, and the lads are hugely disappointed. But weirdly, I don't think they lack confidence. I just think we came up against a really good team. And look, if this was an independent result, and I know it isn't, but if this would have been 3 months ago and we lost at home to Sheffield and we played that way and we lost, you know, 1-0, it would probably be a bit, okay, well, that's where we want to get to. It's the fact that it's on the end of a poor run that everything is magnified, and I understand that, obviously I do. But I don't think the lads have a massive lack of confidence. I think it's more the fact that at the end, the last 5 or 10 minutes, the anxiety to try and make something happen, and it kept breaking down, and the frustrations from everybody within the stadium, you could feel it, and I get that.
And you mentioned them already, but just to clarify, Ryan Namby and David Ozo. Namby potentially an issue, but Ozo's okay, just needs some minutes in the legs?
Yeah, Ozo started to cramp up in his calves, and you know, the intention was he played an hour, so that was disappointing that he cramped up in his calves, but another week's training should be okay for next week. Ryan had some back seizure, hip seizure, something. So we, when we came in at half time, we suddenly got told off the physios that we had to take him off. So obviously we had to manoeuvre Ibu out, and so there was a lot of moving about.
You had one good chance toward the end. It would have been a dream return for Matt Clarke, who you brought to the club, back to the club this week. Give us your thoughts on his return in a Derby shirt.
Yeah, I thought he was the greatest bit of sunshine on a cloudy day. If I'm honest, I thought he played really well. He defended really well, as I would expect, and he was a threat. And he kept trying to play forward. Yeah, and I thought his performance was excellent. I'm not standing here, surprised either. I know he's a very good player, and we're very lucky that Middlesbrough didn't see him as part of their plans. So we're fortunate he's come here, and it felt like he improved the back line. So yes, I was really pleased with him, and it would be nice if we sign another defender, and Nat as well. He's coming back next week. I feel like you've got your proper back line, which will obviously help, and I don't have to keep bringing my midfielders into it or my fullbacks. So yeah, it was a tough day at the office. I understand everyone being hugely disappointed. I've got ears, I can hear it. So, but I won't apologise for the lads' efforts, because I thought they were there.
I feel as though you opened the door to let me ask about the transfer window there, so I will as we go into the closing days. I think it's clear from what you had available today you could do with some more bodies in. What are you hoping for? What are you maybe expecting from the last couple of days of the transfer window?
Yeah, well, I think we need to sign another defender. Another wide player would have been good. I'm not as confident on that, but another striker. I thought today, they played a lot of minutes, obviously, but we could have done with a fresher 9. Obviously, Dage being out is a blow as well. So we're missing some key players, and I think our best 11 is excellent, and I like what the lads tried to do today. But we do need to get some bodies back, and we do need to, as everyone does, as you've seen today, with new players playing everywhere. Everyone's strengthening their squad, and we have to do the same.
That's Derby boss Paul Warne and Sean Barker alongside. No doubt Derby needs some bodies back, and they're going to need some reinforcements over the next couple of days.
They are. This has been coming for a few weeks now. I think early in the season, when you looked at the squad and you saw the bench and you had experienced players on there and players that could make a difference from the substitutes bench, you look at this afternoon, the fact that you've had to have 3 or 4 academy players, players maybe out of form. You're looking for something a little bit different, and the reality is the top teams in the division, especially in the top half, have an array of ability and talent on their bench as well as in the squad, and often left at home. So we're struggling in terms of numbers, we're struggling in terms of that real quality, and I think Paul mentioned it there. If you've got a starting 11, I think you've got a good side that competes, and we've seen it this season. It's very difficult when you're in this sort of form to have 3 or 4 players in your team having to play out of position, had to do a job almost for the team, and then get your rewards. It's tough, and I do feel for everyone involved at the moment, because everything seems to be going against this club.
Fine margins again for Derby. Sheffield United only needed the single goal, took it well. Well worked move. Ben Broden Diaz scores it. I think you said to me, to be going off air, you just wanted to see a bit more bite from Derby today, and the goal sort of summed it up. Yeah,
I know I'm old school. I know I see it in an old. Yeah, well, if I was coming off that pitch, I'd be looking at how many people got booked, how many strong challenges you had, how many times you asked the referee to make a big call, and the referee was lenient, and I don't think anyone got booked.
One, I think.
In a game like this, when it matters like this, I'm looking for more. I'm looking for more aggression, more bite, more desire, and I don't think it's the work rate. Paul's alluded to the fact that he can't fault the work rate, but 50-50 tackles, I felt we came second best throughout the game, and in a game that isn't pretty, which isn't loads of football, you have to be better in those moments, and I think I said on air, the goal summed up some of the performance for me, because it was 15-16 passes in our defensive third, not one tackle, not one dual one, and ultimately they had that little bit of quality. That one goal, there was not much more than that from Sheffield United. That's the frustrating thing, that those moments are happening to us. There's a reason for it, and for me today, that little moment in play and the chance that Sheffield United got, you always felt was going to be difficult with their defensive prowess in the league this season.
Matt Clarke almost had the dream return with the opportunity for Derby late on, probably their best of the game. Does his performance give you a bit of hope going forward?
His performance is not a shock. It's not a shock. It's the player that we've seen before. It's the player that you know will come into this side and fit in well. When he's got natural centre halves alongside him, whether that be in a back three or a back four, he's going to be solid. And his maybe his involvement in these games could be a big call from now until the end of the season. Every single player makes a difference. Some with his quality and his talent and his experience at this level will make a big plus. And I thought it was really good on his return.
Let's hear from him. Here's Matt Clarke.
Frustrating. I thought there weren't much in the game for large periods, and I thought we restricted them for large periods. But to concede the goal when we did was frustrating and a really bad time, and didn't quite have the key to unlock them at the other end. And maybe the ball didn't quite fall for us. I had a chance which I should score, and ends up being a frustrating and disappointing day. Yeah,
that would have been the dream return for you, wouldn't it, if that had gone in?
Yeah, and it was there for me to attack. I just didn't put it in. So. So when you're at a time like this, when you get that chance, you got to take it, and I didn't today, which will sort of stick with me tonight for sure.
It looked as though you'd never been away. How did it feel being back at Pride Park in a Derby shirt 3.5 years on? Yeah,
as frustrating as the result in the game was, I hadn't played for a few weeks. There's that little bit of sort of, am I up to speed? Am I going to be all right? But I felt once I settled in, it's just another game, and I was happy as I suppose I can be with the nature of the result. I was happy to be back out there and to be playing, and things and something to build on for sure.
Yeah, of course, to separate the personal from the team performance. You've joined from a side toward the top of the Championship table. Is it just these moments, these key moments here or there in penalty areas that separate the teams from the top to the teams toward the bottom? Yeah,
definitely, and I think there's still such a long way to go, and it can still change so quickly. So I think when you're in these moments, it feels like you're never going to get out of them, but you will. I think one result can soon become 2 and 3, and you come on a bit of momentum, and suddenly goals come from everywhere, and teams miss chances, and the ball just keeps falling for you. So it's just that first one we've got to find a way to really grind out an ugly one if it needs to be ugly, or just find a way to stop this and get the 3 points and something to build on.
You're new to the group, of course, so I suppose you're feeling it and experiencing it in a different way to a lot of the guys in that dressing room. What is the mood in the dressing room after that?
There's still loads of belief, and I still feel like everyone's on the same page and pushing the same direction. I think training's really, really good and upbeat, and the messages we get from the gaffer are really upbeat. Everything's upbeat as it can be, but obviously we know where we're at, and we need to get out of this one way or another.
That's Derby defender Matt Clarke. Results from the Championship weekend so far, with just Middlesbrough Sunderland to come this weekend. Results today: Plymouth beating West Brom in one of the lunchtime games. Bit of a surprise there. Other matches that mattered to Derby saw Stoke win 2-1 at Hull. Leeds batter Cardiff 7-0. It finished at Elland Road. And a draw between Portsmouth and Burnley, goalless that one. Luton got a point as well, which does change things a little toward the bottom of the table. Top first, where it still leads from Sheffield United, who both won today. Burnley dropping points in third. At the other end, Derby stay where they were, but Luton now level on points with the Rams. Derby 2 behind Hull, 3 behind Portsmouth and Cardiff. Everyone down there has played the same number of games. That's all from us for now. If you want more reaction to today's game, it'll be on the website, dcfc.co.uk. My thanks to Barks for joining me, for watching, from me and the rest of the RamsTV team. Goodbye.